Clayton County Board of Education work session. We're going to call the meeting to order. We're going to start off by doing the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand with me and recite the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm going to call the roll for our board. District 1, Ms. Jasmine Bowles.
Present.
District 2, Mr. Mark Christmas.
Present.
District 3, Jesse Gorey, that's me. District 4, Ms. Victoria Williams. Present. Who's sitting in for our vice chair this evening. District 5, Dr. D. Haney. District 6, Ms. Mary Baker we actually have 2 members out of the country. District 7, Ms. Sabrina Hill.
Present.
District 8, Ms. Joy Tellis Cooper.
Present.
District 9, Mr. Straker. Superintendent, Dr. Anthony Smith.
Present.
Attorney, Mr. Clem Doyle.
Present.
Board Liaison, Ms. Kim Blackwood. Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent and Board, Ms. Alicia Battle. Administrative Assistant to our Chief Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Dawn Blau. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you all. And I want to thank everyone that made it this morning. We've really been earning our money today because we've had these hearings and, nobody likes to pay taxes. So a few people, I understand. But before we get started, we want to recognize some people, some good stuff. And I'm going to start with our other queen up here who has reminded me, Miss Alicia Battle, that we forgot her birthday because it was the week that we were on vacation. So we want to make sure that we say, happy birthday, Miss Battle. Can you all say?
Happy birthday, Miss Battle.
All right. All right. Now we have some other people whose birthdays are more recent. We want to recognize Dr. Delphia Young, who had a birthday yesterday. Dr. Young. I don't know if Dr. Melvin Blocker is in the house, but I know his birthday is coming up. So let's say today. I see, maybe that's why he's not here, because he's out celebrating. He's smart. He's out celebrating. That's what you're supposed to do on your birthday. It ought to just be a holiday, a paid holiday. And then also Donna Graham's birthday as well. So we want to say happy birthday. I'm not sure if she's in here. Maybe she's smart and left and went to have dinner, because I know I saw her this morning. So anyway, happy birthday to all of those people. It's always good to see another trip around the sun, okay? So we've done our call the roll. We've done our pledge. Next thing on the agenda is the ethics statement. In accordance with Board Policy BH, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of such conflicts. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict with respect to any matter scheduled to come before the board at this meeting or appearing on our proposed agenda? If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict and refrain from participation in the matter involved. All right. We need to adopt our agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Ms. Cooper.
I move that we adopt the agenda as is.
All right. Second, Mr. Christmas.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and properly a second that we adopt the agenda. Please vote. All right. I'm looking. I forget you're down here. So we have 7 in favor. All right. The next item on the agenda is recommendations from executive session, and I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Smith. But maybe we should do, before we turn it over to him, maybe we should do something else first. All right. Let's start out with the Forest Park High School easement. I need a recommendation. What, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the executive summary, excuse me. Or actually, you all know I got a little problem with my eyesight. All right, I need a motion to recommend to vote on the recommendation of the superintendent for the easement at Forest Park Middle School. Okay, Ms. Williams.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay. I need a second. Ms. Cooper.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the easement at Forest Park Middle. Please vote. All right, and the vote is 6 in favor and 1 abstention. You got it, Ms. Bell? Okay. Oh, man, I shouldn't have done that. I just lost my whole agenda with this computer. All right. The next item that we have on the agenda is we need to have the, I got it. I need a motion for the easement at Jonesboro High School. Ms. Hill.
Yes, Madam Chair, I motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the easement at Jonesboro High School.
All right, and second, Ms. Bowles.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the easement at Jonesboro High School. Please vote. We have 6 in favor and 1 abstention. All right. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. The next recommendation by the superintendent is that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the easement at Michelle Obama School. I can't remember the whole it's a long name. I'm just gonna say Michelle Obama School. All right, Ms. Bowles.
I motion for the easement at Michelle Obama.
All right, I need a second. Are you the second? All right.
I second it.
All right, Ms. Williams is going to second it. It's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for the easement at Michelle Obama. All right. And the vote is 7 in favor. All right. Okay, at this time, we have that. I'm gonna turn it back over to you now, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, staff, community members. Before we get to the recommendations, I'd just like to take one personal privilege by acknowledging Mr. Gary Townsend's daughter, Taylor Townsend,
Yes.
who just recently won the Wimbledon's double championship.
That is
So,
correct.
congratulations to Clayton County's own Ms. Taylor Townsend, y'all, making us so proud. But thank you for that. Board members, I would like for you to consider for the position of principal at Smith Elementary School, Ms. Talana Griggs.
Board members, we need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Ms. Talana. We're gonna make sure we get it correct. Griggs to be the principal at Smith Elementary School. I believe that's Roberta T. Smith Elementary School. Is that not correct? All right. I see Ms. Cooper.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for Ms. Talana Griggs to be the principal at Smith Elementary.
All right, Ms. Williams. All right, it's been moved and properly seconded that we accept the superintendent's recommendation. Please vote. And it is unanimous, 7 in favor.
All right, Ms. Griggs, if you're present, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations. All right.
Ms. Griggs, please pronounce your first name for us, please. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Ms. Griggs. Also, board members, I would like for you to consider for the position of assistant principal at Lee Street Elementary School, Ms. Anshel Lewis.
All right, board members, the superintendent has recommended Ms. Anshel Lewis. We're gonna make sure we have that correct, as the assistant principal at Lee Street Elementary School. I need a motion. Dr. Haney.
Madam Chair, I'd like to accept the superintendent's recommendation for Ms. Anshel Lewis to become the assistant principal over at Lee Street Elementary School.
All right, I need a second. Ms. Hill.
Madam Chair, I second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second. Please vote for the superintendent's recommendation. And it is unanimous, 7 in favor.
Thank you, board members. Ms. Lewis, if you're present, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations.
Hold on. Ms. Lewis, we need the pronunciation. Anshel. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Anshel Lewis.
I think I got it right, Ms.
I think you
Corey,
did. I
but
think we
anyway.
were kind of influenced. We thought it was the other way. We just got to get that phonics lesson together.
Thank you. Thank you, board members. I would also like for the board to consider for the position of assistant principal at Rivers Edge Elementary School, Adrian Oliver.
Board members, I need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Adrian Oliver as the assistant principal at Rivers Edge Elementary School. Ms. Bowles.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation for Adrian Oliver to become the assistant principal at Rivers Edge Elementary.
All right. Dr. D, we second? All right, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Adrian Oliver as the assistant principal at Rivers Edge Elementary School. Please vote. It is a unanimous vote.
All right, Ms. Oliver, please stand and be recognized. Congratulations. All right, big fan base out there. Thank you, board members. Also, I would like for the board to consider for the position of coordinator of elementary social studies, Monique Swinger.
Board members, we need a motion for the superintendent's recommendation of Monique Swinger as the coordinator of elementary social studies, and I am going to make that motion. I need a second. Mr. Christmas.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Monique Swinger as the coordinator of elementary social studies. Please vote. Mr. Christmas. All right, it is a unanimous vote.
All right, congratulations. Congratulations, Ms. Swinger. The board, I believe, would like to capture a picture with all of the
Yes.
new candidates, but I would also like to point out, Madam Chair and board members and guests, that we have in our midst tonight the illustrious president for Clayton State University, Dr. George Lewis. Dr. George Lewis, would you please stand? Thank you for being with us tonight, sir.
And we have a full house in here, and we know that you all are so happy for the people that you have come to support for these promotions. We want to get a picture with them. I believe is our former social studies coordinator in the house. Yes. So I just want you to know you're putting, you all have some footsteps to follow, and this is a very important year a very important year. So we want that to, we know she's gonna do a good job. You have two people, and I'm glad that we've done that, Dr. Young. Now, we need the podium to be moved, and so I'm saying this, I'm prefacing this. So after we take this picture and they start coming down the aisle, I know you all are going to get real happy, but we do need to finish our board meeting. So if you can take that happiness expeditiously, as Joe Clark would say, out that door, it would be greatly appreciated, okay? Thank you all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we get you all to file out very quickly? Okay, yeah, good group. All right, at this time, we are going to continue our agenda, and we're going to start with updates to the board. We will start with Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, community, staff members. It is my pleasure to present my superintendent update, which supports one or more of the district's 5 priorities, which serve as the blueprint for how we are building a better tomorrow today. Our priorities continue to be improving culture and climate, safety, increasing academic achievement, maintaining fiscal stability, strengthening organizational structure, and enhancing infrastructure and facilities. Tonight's report will specifically focus on our day one readiness. Well, we are certainly day one ready. The first day of school is this Thursday, August 1st. I'm excited to welcome our Clayton County Public Schools staff, students, families, and community partners to the start of another school year. To date, we have over 7,000 talented staff members ready to greet and serve our 50,000 students. I want to extend a special thank you to our new staff for joining our CCPS family. And I also want to thank our employees who continue to remain dedicated to the school system. Clayton County Public Schools is the place to be. We're becoming a local and national model for innovation and providing top-notch resources and training. So thank you to our new employees and those who remain and who have returned to the Clayton County Public Schools family. The district hosted its annual back-to-school bash this past Saturday at Drew High School, Morrow High School, Mundy's Mill High School, and Mount Zion High School. Parents and students received a warm and exciting welcome, along with school supplies and helpful tips for a great start to the school year. We had a wonderful turnout. Parents and caregivers, let's keep the same momentum and presence as we start the school year. Your engagement is paramount to our students' success. Additionally, we have 4 fewer vacancies this year than we had this time last year. I am thankful to our HR department for their strategic recruitment efforts, along with other division and school leaders who are working to create the right conditions that attract and retain our dynamic staff. I had the opportunity to address over 350 staff members during the new teacher orientation and over 100 staff members in our boardroom during last week's new hire experience. We will have a caring and trained adult in every classroom to teach our students on day one and beyond. HR is continuing to recruit. If anybody is interested, please visit our website to learn how you can join this great CCPS team. Our Board of Education and I will continue to work together to be the district of choice and ensure competitive salaries for our staff. I encourage you to please visit our website to see the details of our 2024-2025 compensation package. This school year, we're building upon our efforts from the past school years. As a result of our collective work, we had many accomplishments, with one being our academic gains in all reported content areas on the recent Georgia Milestones Assessment. Overall, Clayton County students made gains or remained the same in 19 out of 20 tested grade levels or subjects in the data released for the end of grade and end of course test. The data released last Friday also shows that CCPS test takers in the lowest levels of achievement, beginning learners, experienced growth in all content areas for the end of course test and in almost all grades and subjects for the end of grade test. Clayton County Public Schools is outpacing the state's growth and moving students out of the lowest level of achievement. We're not where we want to be, but we're making strides in the right direction. Speaking of learning, our Division of Teaching and Learning and Strategic Improvement provided professional learning today for over 3,000 teachers from all content areas to ensure they have the knowledge, skills, and resources for a successful start. This year, we are providing lesson plans to all elementary core content area teachers, secondary science teachers, and secondary teachers of GMAS tested courses in math, English language arts, ELA, and social studies. Let me repeat that. We're providing lesson plans this year for all elementary core content area teachers, secondary science teachers, and secondary teachers of GMAS tested courses in math, English language arts, and social studies. This will provide our teachers with more time to focus on meeting the needs of students. I'm elated to share that I'm one of few superintendents statewide chosen to participate in Governor Kemp's superintendent roundtable discussions, where we have the governor's ear and interest on how to improve the overall quality of public education. More to come from these discussions. As you may have seen on WSB TV Channel 2 News, we have 100% of our bus drivers' positions filled for the start of the school year. Thanks to our transportation department, and congratulations to Ms. Denise Hall for being named the Metro Risa Director of the Year. Also, that great department, through the securing of grant funds, we will be one of few districts that start in August with 25 electric buses, with more to come, which speaks to our concern for the environment as well as our zest for innovation. For nutrition, Clayton County Public Schools recertified its CEP program. That's our Community Eligibility Provisions Program, for an additional 4-year cycle, providing our students with free meals. The cycle begins July 1st, 2024, and goes through June 30th, 2028. For facility services, we're continuing to maintain a 7-day cutting schedule for our lawns. Grounds are being serviced to enhance curb appeal. We will ensure that all buildings are clean and prepared for the opening of school. The Communications Division is strategically preparing for back-to-school initiatives and securing media interviews to highlight our excitement and preparation for the new school year. B103 will be interviewing us this Wednesday, July 31st, and I am looking forward to sharing with great enthusiasm how we are day one ready and building on the successes from the past school year. As we go into this school year, let's prioritize creating the right conditions for working and learning. Let's follow all guidelines and protocols to ensure a healthy and secure environment for everyone. Parents and caregivers, thank you for trusting us with your children's education. Continue to stay connected, and please know that our staff members have diligently prepared for a successful school year. Together, let's continue to build a better tomorrow today. Madam Chair, that concludes my superintendent update.
Thank you so much, Dr. Smith. Great presentation, letting everybody know we're ready for day one. Ms. Cooper.
Hey, Dr. Smith, thank you so much for that thorough superintendent report. Just 3 quick things. Can you tell me, have we tested the metal detectors in each school? And also, can we—
I didn't catch that, I'm sorry.
Can you please tell me, have we tested all of the metal detectors in each schools to make sure they're okay? That's number one. And number two, just to continue to let the parents know that we will be using the clear backpacks. And also, I think one of my colleagues asked about this, the update on the student badges.
Yes, I would ask Mr. Reynald Walker to come and give a quick update about the metal detectors and what we're doing this week to ensure that we have safe environments.
Good afternoon, and I can diligently tell you that we have tested and checked all of our weapon detection devices, and they're all operational. And there are a few schools where actually adding additional metal detectors to assist with that. Also, as it relates to preparedness or readiness for the first day of school, all of our security personnel have received CPR training and are CPR certified. That's SROs and CSOs. They've also received Narcan training, so they're prepared. So when the state gets ready to issue the Narcans, we will be ready. Lastly, we just look forward to welcoming everyone back to school on Thursday.
And yes, we will also continue with our clear book bag policy this school.
Yes, we will.
Don't leave. What about Centetric?
Strategics.
Centegics had a recall on their badges, and right now we're working to make sure or ensure that all schools receive their badges by the first day of school. We're only short a couple of schools that have not received their badges. However, the Centegic system has been upgraded in all of our schools, so we could look forward to the new Centegic system this year. And Centegic should be operational the first day of school.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Hold on. We're not, just stay up here, sir. Come on, stay. Safety.
Gotta get out.
Ms. Williams.
What'd you say y'all trained for? What kind of badge? A narcs badge?
What'd you say y'all did the training for?
Narcan trainings, and it's just the training that issues the medication just in case we have an overdose or something happens to a student on school property.
All right, thank you.
Also, Chief Walker and I had a conversation about defibrillators as well. I had one of my friends had a heart attack in a county building. And as I noticed in the building where our offices are located, we have one, but because you need access with a badge to get down the hall to get one, if someone actually needed it in our part of the building, we would be in a bind because they wouldn't be able to go to the other side of the building. And even once they left our area, they couldn't get in. So we also have talked about making sure that in each of our schools, that we want to make sure that we have enough for emergency use. So we're trying to make certain that we're ready in every aspect on day one. Doctor, are there any other questions? Dr. Colbert, were you coming?
I was just going to respond to the question about the ID badges for high school students. We'll schedule to start taking those photos around the second week of school. Once we get students in and schedule, we have the devices and the equipment that we purchased last school term. So we'll be set to go around the second week of school.
Could you let them know what levels?
High school level, all high school students.
All right. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Tillis Cooper. At this time, I would ask Mr. Andy Sykes to come and provide an update relative to our technology.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith. It's my pleasure this evening to provide y'all with an update for technology and our readiness for the beginning of the school year. So to begin with, I'm going to talk about student Chromebooks. All Chromebooks that are dedicated within the classroom or within the schools that are in carts were inventoried this summer. They've been cleaned, they've been tested, and any issues that we detected have been addressed or are currently being addressed for day one of the school year. In addition to that, any student-issued Chromebooks that were issued last year were collected at the end of the school year, and they were sent off to be cleaned, to be tested, and they've been repaired for the start of the school year as well. In regard to student Chromebooks and last year's numbers, so last year, between August and the end of June last year, we had a total of 1,752 Chromebooks that were unrecoverable. That's either missing or damaged beyond economical repair. Out of those numbers, we had 1,368 that were missing, 384 that were damaged beyond repair. Those numbers are both down from 3,887 on the missing the previous year and 687 on that damage beyond economical repair the previous year. All right, for student Chromebooks, for just overall damage, day-to-day screen breakage, small cracks or things that just, small damage that can be repaired, we had a total of 20,053 damaged devices last year. That number's down about 1,750 from the previous year. And the damage rate by our school level is highest at the middle school at 52% of those devices being damaged at the middle school level. That has caused us for this upcoming school year to put additional resources into training those middle school students to ensure that they understand proper care and usage of their devices. All right. So those devices that were collected at the end of the last school year is a total of 29,831. They are all being delivered back to the schools. We're currently right in the middle of getting everything back to the schools. And we are individually working with each school to work on their schedule to distribute those devices to the students. All right, moving on to teacher and staff accounts. So far this year, there have been a total of 846 employees or teacher/staff accounts processed through the human resources, business services, and technology areas. 355 of those have been new hires, 137 have been rehires, and 354 of those have been class changes. And for those teacher and staff laptops, these numbers were as of the end of last Thursday. We had delivered 281 teacher laptops and 131 laptops for schools, that being parapros, media specialists, anybody in the school that's not an actual classroom teacher. I can update those numbers. We had 50 additional total today in there, so I think we've got around 462 as our total number right now. All right. At this time, are there any questions?
Dr. Haney.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes, for that detailed report. I just had one question. In regards to the laptops, how many devices are allotted for a student who may lose? You know, we have some babies who constantly or may lose or laptops that are stolen. Is there an allotted amount? What is the alternative for that?
Yes. So Dr. Haney, so for students that have devices stolen, if they turn in a police report, we actually replace that device right there. If they lose a device, if they damage a device, multiple times, if we're in those type of situations, every school has an allotment. A lot of that allotment's based on enrollment and need. I think the minimum that we have at any school is 30, but some schools have, multiple carts worth of devices that a student, if they don't even bring it just for the day, can check it out for the day and use it for that day. And I can get you those exact numbers if you'd like. You're welcome.
Ms. Hill.
Thank you for your presentation. And my ask is only, are these Chromebooks that were damaged or not operable, are they under warranty still? I know there's a 5-year warranty, but just how many of them fall within that category?
Yes, well, thank you. And so every device that was included in this report is under warranty. So, and even those devices that are damaged beyond repair, we actually have a vendor that pulls usable parts off of those to work on other devices as well, to just lengthen the life of this equipment. So, thank you.
Ms. Cooper.
Okay, I think Ms. Hill kind of asked my question because it was going to be, could you tell me the total cost for the 29,000K Chromebooks versus getting a new Chromebook? That was one of my questions. And then another question was, what are our process or our procedures that we follow when we do have a damaged Chromebook, as far as with the parents? Because I know last year we had a couple of instances where high school students were getting ready to graduate and they didn't know until the end. So what's our procedure for that?
Yes.
And the cost?
Okay, so I'll answer your second question first. So if a student damages a device, once they announce that they've damaged the device, they work with an on-site technician at that school to turn in their device. Then they get a loaner device while that device has been turned in. We have that sent off to we use a company called Lexicon. They process all of our accidental damage protection devices. So that device is actually sent off to them. They're located in Conyers. At that point, they evaluate the device, what damage has occurred to the device. If it is something that falls in that beyond economical repair at that point in time, they alert us and let us know, hey, this device had extensive water damage or extensive damage that it costs less to repair or to replace the device than it does to repair the device. So at that point in time, we work with the school to notify the school that, hey, this student, damaged their device beyond that the repair that can be done, well, beyond the point where it can be repaired. That student is then, we ask for a $100 fee to replace that entire device at that point in time. And we have the school work with those parents. There are exceptions where we've had, schools call us and we're able to work with them, but that is something that was just implemented last year. And I think it's really, just looking at those numbers, I think it's, the accountability piece has really paid off for us in that area. But once we've told the school, it's all between that school leadership and the parents to communicate on, what's happened to the device and those type of things. We also get pictures of the equipment. That way, in case there's any type of uncertainty on whether that device was damaged or not. Now for the 29,000, so when we purchased the equipment, we purchased it with a 5-year warranty and accidental damage protection. In addition to that, we purchased a process called summer services, which is where, because we don't have the staff to process 40,000 Chromebooks, which is what we have in our fleet. Under that, we actually process the summer services to where they'll come pick it up, they take it off site, they do the cleaning, they do the repairs, and then they send them back on that. So that's built into the initial cost of the device when we purchase it. But the actual cost of it, so the cost of a Chromebook just by itself is about $250. Once we put all of the services, the warranty, the theft insurance, all of that on top of it, it's about $450 per device. You're welcome.
Mr. Christmas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Sykes, one good report. I want to first of all say thank you for getting the numbers down for missing Chromebooks. That's been a point of contention with me. And we down to 13, we got them down to 1,368, right? So what is the process to keep, what are your inventory process to keep these Chromebooks back in-house? And this is probably a Dr. Anthony Smith question. I don't particularly care for the Chromebooks. I think we should have bought iPads because we can track them. And I know it would have been more expensive to do so, but if we keep buying 10,000 Chromebooks a year, we should have just went and spent the money we needed to spend to keep our inventory in CCPS.
All right, well, first off, thank you, Mr. Christmas. And the reduction in those numbers were, a testament not just to technology, but the district leadership, school leadership, parents, and students as well. So there was a huge team effort in making that happen. As far as the inventory goes, we're constantly watching the inventory. So many of these that go missing, it's a lot of times, it's not always a student that's actually currently a student in the district. It may be a student that unenrolls and just doesn't turn it in or doesn't know they're there one day and they're not the next. So we're in a constant watchful eye of what our inventory is. As soon as we know something, as soon as a student is unenrolled, we're communicating with the school to say, hey, this device has gone missing. Can we start reaching out to the parents? If we have a number, can we do whatever we can to get in touch with them? And then if a student is enrolled, we're trying to stay on top of looking within. So what we can do with the Chromebooks is we can see if they're being used or not. So if they're not being used, we're trying to take action to where if a student is enrolled in a school and they haven't used it in several days, we start then trying to, hunt the device down. Can we reach out to the parents? Can we reach out to that student and say, hey, where's your device? Let's make sure we bring it. A lot of what was done last year really helped those numbers get down, and with the teachers assisting us with audits and things like that, collecting devices before long breaks. I think with the positive numbers this year, I think we're going to try and take that momentum and ride it, and even, do a more accurate job in those inventories as well.
One more question. So, because I keep saying iPads, so do you think the Chromebook, I know this is a setup question, do you think the Chromebook is better than the iPad? And the reason I'm saying this is because if we lost 1,368 Chromebooks, and per your number, that's $615,600.
Yes. That's correct. Well, I mean, as far as my opinion on what's best for us, that's something that we would have to sit down and really look at all those numbers, because I know what a MacBook cost, what an iPad cost, but I don't know what it costs to get it repaired. I don't know what it costs for a lot of those areas around it. And then there's an additional component where we have to work with safety and security and some other measures, because even if that iPad goes missing and we find it in Utah, what's the cost to recover that device as well? Which we will say, we do get devices. We get calls from people in New York and areas that say, hey, we found your device. And testament to Chief Walker, we reach out to them and they work on getting that device recovered. So.
Thank you.
Ms. Williams.
You pretty much answered my question. I was asking about how we holding the parents or the students responsible for the laptops, because they know they got a warranty. They probably just throwing it around. And I know when we had the textbooks, if the student didn't bring it back, you had to pay for that whole textbook, which was like about $200. Or even if they tore the textbook, you had to pay for it, or they held your report card. So that's what I was trying to just see how we holding them accountable, not thinking they can just do whatever and just because it's under warranty.
Yes, yeah. So the warranty and accidental damage protects, normal day-to-day breaks. Anything outside of that, we do that $100 fee. Anything, if the only time we charge full cost to a student is if that device just goes 100% missing. If they lose the device, if there's nothing to recover from that device at all. And then there's your AC adapters and cases. If those items are misplaced or go missing, those are also expected to be replaced as well. You're welcome.
I wanted to just ask a question, and you might have already said this because I just kind of got lost in all the conversation. I had a friend that worked as a long-term sub at a school last year, and she called me because she was upset that the classes she had, they were all failing. But she was a long-term sub, we never issued her a laptop. She couldn't get into Infinite Campus or do anything. Are we doing anything do we do anything with subs? Like they need to access, a computer. What do we do for them?
Yeah, so long-term subs, we've been issuing laptops to them for several years. The process in the past, and really it is the process now, there was a slight change, but I think we're going back to it, is upon arriving to that school, the school administration would just need to request, hey, we've got a long-term sub here. They need a laptop, they need Infinite Campus access, and they need access to their email and everything else. Once we've gotten that, we just confirm with it. The new step is the confirmation with HR to ensure that the hiring process has been completed. After that point in time, their account's created, we send out a laptop, we do all of that. So if anything like that occurs, please don't hesitate to have them reach out to us. We will work directly with the school to help get that process started in those cases. And then for day-to-day subs, we've made a change this year. So in the past, a day-to-day subs had zero access to anything.
Right.
We're by the beginning of September, we will have a process in place for them to at least have access to be able to log into a device, whether that be the Mimeo board in the classroom. It doesn't give them Infinite Campus access because they're not tied to a student roster or role, but it gives them access to at least be able to teach on the equipment in the classroom or utilize that equipment in the classroom.
Okay, thank you. Well, I wanted to commend, I noticed at the Back to School Bash on Saturday, I think when each group was released, I think that someone, at least at the event I was at, talked to them about, using the laptops and all of the things that they need to be aware of, and getting on Infinite Campus and all those things, so that we don't get those calls at the end of the year saying they didn't know their children weren't passing. So for all the parents that are looking, the good thing is to look in Infinite Campus every single day to see what your child is doing. And if you don't know how to get into Infinite Campus, don't we have a technology person assigned that there's somebody that's identified as a person at each school?
There's a person at each school, but they aren't exactly Infinite Campus based, but if they have any issues, they can work with the school and we'll work with them to get them access to the parent portal. The big thing there is always go through the school first. That way we know the parent or that adult should have access to the parent portal.
Okay, thank you all so much. Do we have any other questions? Great job.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes, for getting those numbers down. Also, I don't know if Mr. Harrington or Ms. Barber will present the budget update in Ms. Bivens' absence.
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Superintendent Dr. Smith, colleagues, and community. Our general fund comparison report for June 30th, 2024. Our beginning fund balance at the beginning of the year of 2024 school year was $174 million. We've collected 89.2% in local taxes. Other local revenue, we are collecting 462, and that's because indirect cost reimbursements and interest revenue that we received was higher than we expected. QBE funding is at 1.105%. That's a little bit higher than what we also were expecting. Our federal revenue is at 71%. That's pretty much close to what we projected. And our total expenditures for the year was $627,315,420. That is a little bit less than what we projected for the year. And the reason for that, we've put measures in to kind of curb the spending at the end of the school year. We were trying to save a few dollars for the school year. So our ending fund balance increased to $196,389,701. Our SPLOS revenue for June came in at $6,107,482. Which is higher than we had in the FY23. And as you can see, we're getting very close to collecting the total amount of SPLOS dollars that we are selected to have. Our purchasing report A, consumables, report B, non-consumables, 10,000 and less than 100,000. And our contracts report C, 100,000 or greater. You all have received those reports, right? Okay. Do you have any questions?
Do we have any questions? Ms. Cooper?
Hey, Mr. Harrington.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. Just really quickly on report C, we did vote to increase that, right? I think the title still says 50K. So that's just a little something you may want to fix.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we fixed it on the report here, so I guess it didn't come to you guys.
On the report,
Yeah. Okay.
on the actual report. That's just the FYI.
Okay.
But my question was there were a couple of items on the purchasing report. One was the DD office products for $350K. Is that for the 2 years or is that each year? That's,
We're
oh,
gonna have, Mr. Drexler Pope come up.
He should have. He can walk up.
Did you ask that question again?
so for the DD office products, we had one for 350K. Is that per year or the 2 years? That's number one. And the same with the Imagine Learning that was 517K, which was virtual learning. I wanted to know how many students also do we have enrolled in that virtual program?
These here are per year cost, and I don't have that number for you as how many students are enrolled in the virtual program, but that's information we can get for you.
Okay, and that's for both the 517 per year?
Yes.
Okay, and also with the Power School group for that 235K, how is this implemented and what does that look like? I don't know if that's a Dr. Young question or if you
Yeah,
can
that's,
answer
I
that.
can't answer that question as to
Okay.
how it's implemented. I just know that that was one of the programs that they referred to continue using because they were so embedded in what they're currently doing. But you would have to get somebody probably in that teaching and learning area that can fully explain that to you because I wouldn't know the ins and outs of how that program worked.
Can, Ms. Scoop, can you repeat your question and
Yes.
so that, repeat your question?
Yes, so the Power School group, that was for 235K. I don't know if maybe Dr. Young can tell us really what is it used for, how is it implemented? And how many, I was wondering how many students do we have enrolled in the virtual learning program? And if you don't have it, you can get it to me later, but if you do, I was just asking a question for
Yes, I'll
Dr.
get that
Young.
information for you and present it to you later.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Are there any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
Oh, that, wait a minute, that was kind of. Did we get out the reports? Oh. Oh, okay.
That's all I have.
Okay, what about the, you got out the purchasing, what about that audit corrective action plan? Were you gonna say anything about that?
Oh, yes, I can.
I mean, you don't, you don't necessarily have to, but I do want to say something to the board members. We do have the audit corrective action plan update. Now, actually, at this time, we were supposed to have had a training. And then we just found out that the person wasn't coming, which kind of messed up the agenda because there were some items that a couple of other people wanted to put on the agenda, but the last time that person came, we were here for about an hour. And so therefore, we thought that that person would be here, but I know that something was added. Did
Yes.
you want to say anything?
So I can speak to that. So we were supposed to have, and the reason why they didn't come, and she said there were several reasons, but she said the board members and the superintendent remained the same from last year. She also said that the findings would presented are essentially repeats from the prior year, and the timing of the audit did not allow significant time to put an implementation correction plan in place. So that's one of the reasons why the training, she didn't come for the training. And as far as the FY22 audit high risk designation correction action plan, After completing the FY22 audit and submitting it to the State Department of Audits, the superintendent and the Division of Business Service and Strategic Improvement was notified by the Georgia Department of Ed that the district has been designated as high risk in accordance to OCGA 20-2-67 due to the repeat audit findings for 3 or more years. A representative from DOOA, which is the Department of Audits and Accounting, is sending an email to the board members with information regarding the findings, providing information on the designation and required actions, which include board training, required financial management and fiscal governance training for the superintendent, and submitting a correction action plan.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. Well, go ahead. Oh,
And so just to speak on what's going on with the audit, we're in FY23 now. And it was a rush to get FY22 closed because our systems couldn't handle 3 years being open at the same time. So we had to rush through FY22. When I got here in April, they were just closing 22. We're working on FY23 right now as we speak. And I'm also trying to put in place where we can start on 24 as soon as 23 is done. The FY23 audit is in process right now, and we're expecting to be done either September or October. We in the place, what I'm trying to get things in place is that we can move right into the FY24 audit. And that should put us back on track for FY25.
yes. Okay,
But it's gonna take time to actually correct some of the things because the years have already passed. So it takes us about 2 to 3 years to really catch back up. So
Okay.
we've put things in place to try to get things back on track. And so hopefully those things will come to fruition as we go on to this next audit.
all right. Dr. Haney.
Well, actually, the audit should be done pretty quickly after the year is closed. Normally, most school districts have their audits done by December. So if we end in 24 right now, December 24, the audit's usually done.
I'm sorry. Ms. Bowles.
Good evening. I'm pretty disappointed on where we are in our audit process, but I appreciate you saying we're trying to be proactive about the forthcoming year. My question is, if we're more than 1 year behind and the findings so far have been repeat findings, what are we doing to prevent repeat findings on our future submission if we haven't mastered the current problems in the previous versions? And I say that to say, if we have a process and we do the same process, we now know that our process needs improvement. And I'd hate to see us do the same thing and expect a different result.
Ms. Bivens and I just recently got into these roles. And so it's gonna take us time to turn the corner with these audit findings that we have. We have put things in place to stop going forward, but we can't change what happened in the past. So for FY25, you should see a dramatic change. But the audits that we're doing right now, I had no control over, and we're trying to fix what we know is right.
So while you may not be able to do anything about previous submissions, we're currently addressing those submissions in real time. So for example, we're in fiscal year 23, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I expect updates on our process long before fiscal year 25, because we're in 23, 24 is going to be next, and then 25.
Correct.
And then for fiscal year 22 and prior, I don't expect you to fix those submissions, but since we're all here now and responsible for our findings, I'm just curious about being sure we don't repeat whatever went wrong prior to you being here for those subsequent submissions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you want to add anything, Dr. Smith?
No, I just wanted to let the board know that we're being diligent about getting the 23 audit done. Dr. Hendricks and I, we take the financial classes at the earliest opportunity to make certain at least that requirement is out of the way. And as Mr. Harrington said, once we get the 23 audit done pretty quickly, for lesser time than it took to do the 22, it is our desire to get us off that status and well on our way for the 2025 year.
Also, the audit corrective action plan is in eBoard. So our board members can take a look at that. And also, since we were supposed to have some training this evening, that is coming from the state. And I did speak to Ms. Bivens earlier this afternoon. So the person from the state will be emailing that information to all of the board members. So we would need for all of us to read over it, and I guess we would, I'm not really sure what action, if somebody's then coming, or we may just have that conversation with Ms. Bivens. And then I believe there is a signature page. Ms. Williams has a copy with her. And we all need to sign off on it in order for us to get off of that status. So that will be an assignment and I'm trying to get her to send it to us expeditiously, because we don't need to just end up with someone sending us an item to read and then we have a state deadline to meet, but we're waiting for the state to send us the information.
Yes, Ms. Bivens told me that right before this meeting that they should be sending it by the end of tomorrow.
Okay, so you all look for that email. It will come to all the board members. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Thank you, Ms. Harrington.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith. You received the SPLOST construction update for the month of July. There were 5 payments totaling $10 million. There were no change orders for the month. Additionally, you received the capital purchasing report for items over $10,000 but less than $100,000. Next is the RFP 24-09 construction management at risk for the North Clayton High School project. It is the recommendation of the superintendent that Carroll Daniel Construction be awarded the project. Then lastly is the Riverdale Early Learning Center bid. It is recommendation of the superintendent that Media Construction be awarded the project at a base bid amount of $43,260,000 with 17% SLBE participation. Are there any questions?
Actually, it's interesting that you came behind Mr. Harrington, because I actually have a concern. I think I sent an email to everyone today, and I mentioned it to Dr. Smith, because we're going to actually look at a retreat at the end of August. We had several people. One person came in this morning speaking in regards to the tax increase and mentioned some schools or certain schools that we hadn't looked at. And I've looked at your report, and I was asking Dr. Smith if at all possible, can we maybe kind of stop with putting bids out? Because it seems that we need to go back and look at our, current sites to see what types of renovations or things that we need to do before we continue to bid out for new projects. Because one of the people that came spoke about some things that they didn't think were correct in the district. Now, personally, I don't know. I have a couple of schools myself that I would like to send some names in. But I think that we need to go back and look, if people don't tell us about properties that are having a problem, like I overheard a conversation the other day about a problem at the PLC with there being flooding in the building. I asked about the situation at the PAC, where I see that the carpeting is very stained, but I know we're going to clean it. But I also think that the PAC might need some renovations as far as lighting is concerned, sound, all of those types of things. And I personally don't want us to be a school district that every campus you go to, something is torn up. I mean, we need to be finishing some projects before we move on. Not to say that we won't do them, but I just think we might need to go back and inventory what we have now and look at seeing if there's anything where we need, we have some priority. But I want to say that I'm very happy that we're finally doing something with North Clayton High School and the Early Learning Center. Now, I will say this, I read it. I do not understand the process that we use. We use one process for one school, and then we use another process for the other, and we need an explanation as to, what we're doing. I also might add, about even how we evaluated who we selected. And I just feel like if we're going to have people to evaluate a business to build something, then maybe some of the people that are making the evaluation know how to build something as well. Because we're not looking at English composition, and we're looking at somebody that knows what a right angle is. When at the corners, it's not going to be 90 degrees, not 91 and a half, or 87 2/3. So I think we really need to know the process and who's sitting at the table. But I am very happy. And on that note, can you please tell me what will be at the new North Clayton High School? Is that a question you want to, y'all kind of looking at each other like, do we need to
Ms.
have?
Gorey, you made a great suggestion about when we have our retreat, having the board take another look at what we consider to be priorities. And if as a collective group, we want to rethink what should go next, we'll be absolutely happy to discuss that, as well as your concern about what all will be included at North Clayton High School.
Okay, good, because I don't want to have some eagles to swoop up in here. Okay, but I am very happy to see it on the agenda. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Thank you.
Mrs. Albritton?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Dr. Smith, colleagues, and community members. The Personnel Changes Report summarizes all personnel actions for the period of June 6th through July 11th, 2024. To date, over 300 teachers have been hired for the 2024-25 school year. At the time of our submissions for tonight's work session, there were 221 teacher vacancies. That number has declined to 198, and the various content areas where vacancies exist are represented in this chart. I do want to note that at this time last year, there were 291 teacher vacancies. So that represents a decline of nearly 100. Human Resources continues to utilize a multi-pronged recruitment strategy, and the district has taken great care to develop a comprehensive approach to mitigating the impact of teacher vacancies. The list of mitigation strategies was shared with the Board of Education on Friday. These strategies support strengthening our teacher pipelines, appreciating our substitutes, partnering on opportunities for staff to earn certification at no cost or reduced cost, enhanced recruitment efforts, mandatory training for those hired on waiver certificates and provisional certificates, as well as our long-term substitutes, sharing qualified applicants directly with school leaders for hiring consideration, redesigning our instructional coach model, increased accountability for teachers hired on waivers, and the development of instructional videos that will benefit many, to include parents, students, substitutes, our in-school suspension environments, small group instruction, as well as differentiated instruction. All of our HR updates were presented to the board for your review. I'm happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
I actually have a question because I want you to get a little clarity. Dr. Smith has said, you mentioned vacancies, but Dr. Smith has said we will have a teacher in every classroom. So can you expound on that, please?
So we will have an adult present in every classroom environment, whether that's the teacher of record, a long-term substitute, or support from other district departments. There will be enhanced support from our Department of Exceptional Students in those classroom environments. Our instructional coaches will be deployed to support environments in their building. And so we are steadfast on sharing that there will be an adult before every classroom on the first day of school.
To include retirees.
Yes.
And when you say those support people and the retirees, I want you to make sure you let everybody know, if we have staff, that those people are what?
They're supporting classroom environments.
No, I need the C word.
Oh, certified?
Yes, ma'am. Because we want to let everybody know that those people that are supporting the environment are certified. They're certified.
Yes.
So yes.
Adults supporting our environments will be certified. There are instances where some of our substitutes are not certified teachers, but the long-term substitutes will be part of our ongoing training efforts as offered by our professional learning department.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? All right. Oh, yes, Ms. Cooper.
So, Ms. Auburn, thank you so much for you and your team getting us those teachers that we need, and the hard work that your group is continuing to do to make sure that you bring in the certified teachers that we need. One thing that I do want you to mention, because I don't know if individuals know about the GACE and the study groups that you have available. So can you talk a little bit about that? So any teachers that are listening or anyone inspired to be teachers, they can understand what that process is.
So the process for becoming what we refer to as a clear and renewable teacher, teaching on a standard renewable certificate, involves the educator passing the GACE assessment as assigned to their various content areas. In order to assist educators with preparing for those GACE assessments, our professional learning department offers preparatory sessions. Those will be held per semester, and there will be multiple sessions each semester. And so that schedule has been shared and will continue to be shared widely. So those that want to take advantage of those GACE preparation sessions will know exactly when they're going to be offered. And they will be offered through a hybrid model. So there will be some face-to-face offerings as well as some that are virtual.
Dr. Haney.
Hi, Ms. Auburn. I just had a simple question. When is the next job fair? And when will you all start going back? And I know school is about to start, colleges are going back. So the next job fair, when will that be? And when will you all go back into some of the colleges to possibly try to recruit? Okay. So we participate in fairs in an ongoing fashion. The district hosted a job fair last Wednesday, July 24th, and there were over 200 participants there. And so principals were able to make candidate recommendations for both teacher positions as well as paraprofessional positions. As we see those recommendations come in and those are processed, We will certainly continue to support schools, whether it's through a formal hiring event or consolidating those who have applied for positions and sharing those directly with schools. We do have a job fair slated for September 19th, and that would be for all vacancies across the district. So teacher, paraprofessional, custodian, each vacancy across the district, hiring managers will be able to source for those on September 19th. In terms of our recruitment efforts on college campuses, as colleges begin to avail those dates, we'll begin our registrations for those.
Ms. Hill.
Yes, and just real quick, Ms. Albritton, I thank you for your report and all the work that you are doing. I know that we have some initiatives within our own school, like Grow Your Own. Can you tell us some more about that and how's that working for us?
So we have 2 Grow Your Own initiatives. One directly support staff who desire to become special education teachers, and then the other support staff who wants to become teachers in any area. Those have been fruitful for us. We continue to support those teachers, supporting their alignment with certification programs or with TAP. And so those have boded well for us, and we'll continue using that internal pipeline in the years to come.
Ms. Williams.
How you doing, Ms. Albritton?
Good evening.
I know I asked the last board meeting, are we hiring doing through the pool position now? Or is each school still, are each candidates picking the school?
Right.
Or are they picking through a pool? How's it working right now?
So presently, each school posts their own vacancies. And so the applicant knows exactly to which school they are applying. The exceptions would be for substitutes, for example. Those are through a consolidated posting. So there's one sub posting, and that's a centralized hiring process. And then, of course, the sub aligns themselves with the assignments as they become available. What we have done, and I'll just share, Ms. Williams, in that regard, the human resources team is reviewing applicants for certain areas and sharing those applicants once vetted directly with school leaders. So if we notice that a school has a particular vacancy, we will share applicants that have been vetted in that area, whether they applied to that school's position or not.
Well, I don't think we have any other questions, but I do want to say something. We had a very wonderful, and I think Dr. Smith mentioned that in his report, we had an awesome new teacher orientation. This year we had I've met a lot of our new teachers and new employees, spoke to them in the cafe, and I know we're looking forward to a wonderful year with them. We have some great employees, and I was actually very happy to see someone that I worked with. I guess I'm telling my age, maybe 16 years ago. Yeah, I already told my age, didn't I? Yeah, about 16 years ago. He is so happy. I'm going to say the district he's coming from that everybody's trying to run to. He's coming from APS, and he is so happy to be here. He was like, man, you all, this is like family. I should have been here a long time ago. So he is just very elated to come. And I wish someone sent me a really nice video from our new teacher orientation, and I should have put it in for us to play. But I also want to thank Dr. Smith and Dr. Brown, Wakita Brown, who did the new teacher orientation. It was nice to have a good breakfast. It's nothing like having a good meal to give a good impression for great employees. Everybody was happy. So anyway, thank you all for everything that you've done to try to have our classes staffed, and they will be staffed on day one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Albritton.
All right, I believe we covered everything under the proposed agenda from the superintendent and chair. And now we're down on board matters. Under board matters, we have the policy series G. This is our first read. And these are our personnel policies. So I don't think I've received anything. Please read these, and if you have anything that you want to look at for change, and I had mentioned something once before that might be a little bit controversial, but I did say that I do have an issue with how we treat our classified and certified staff, in that we do some random tests, and I think it's really, we don't want any type of drug use or whatever from any of our staff, but I think it's not, we don't have equality there. If, we focus on one group and we don't focus on the other group. So I think that we had talked about maybe having some alternative measures for in the event someone has tested or whatever. And because, I'm a believer in the higher power, and I know that we've all been granted a second chance. And I think that we can look at some employee benefits that we offer and maybe look at granting a second chance for some people. So those are our G policies. Did anybody have anything that they wanted to add? Or if not, whatever you want to look at, please send it to the whole board. The next item on the board matters are the M policies. And some of this, one of the first things, it's to me kind of related, because we have the student teaching and internships and those types of things. So we want to look at those and definitely encourage the continued use of those, because that's a great way for us to have staff work for us. I don't think we have anything. So I'm gonna move right along to the next item on the agenda, which is the student travel request for 2024.
Yes, ma'am, we can. Ms. Anna Cox, please come forward in the event that the board members have any questions.
Absolutely. So you have this information, I know, in your packet about our travel initiative. We are humming along, which is really exciting that we're giving our kids the opportunity to get out of the country, and not just anywhere, but everywhere. So we've been coordinating with EF Tours for the past couple of years, both from a district level and a school level. Our students and our families are typically securing the funding, sometimes through fundraising on their own, sometimes through large fundraising measures. It just sort of depends. All of the requests for those travels go through our department first, and then we just sort of meet with the teachers and make sure that they understand the commitment and everything that's happening with those international trips. So you can see the current proposed trips for this school year, which is 2024 through 2025. We've got Adamson Middle School headed off to France for summer. We've got Elite Scholars Middle and High School doing London and Paris. We've got Jonesboro High School going to South Korea and Japan. Lake Ridge is doing a Paris city stay. We're really excited to take some of those first little dual language babies off to Paris. Lovejoy and North Clayton are partnering for France and Spain. MD Roberts School of the Arts is doing Venice, Florence, and Rome. Rex Mill is aiming towards Paris and Barcelona. And finally, the CCPS Travels, the district-wide trip, is headed to South Africa, headed by Miss Monique Swinger, who is now our new coordinator for K-5 Social Studies. So we're just really excited. Oh, I didn't click, sorry.
Oh, yeah, we're looking, because that right there, we need a little clarification on that CC. Who's the travel? Who will that entail?
For the district.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the trips that we put together for the district, meaning students don't have to be at one school or another. Sometimes their schools aren't traveling, so we offer it at the district level.
Oh, that's really not the answer I wanted.
Sorry.
I was
apologize.
hoping that was like an adult trip.
Oh, well, it's funny that you say that. I thought about it. Where do you want to go? Because I really would love to sponsor an adult district
we
trip.
need an adult trip.
Let's go. Where you
and
want to go.
And it seems to me, let me see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like we need one more, because it seems like to me we could assign a board member as a chaperone to each of these trips.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like something else. We might look, it looks a little short. We need to add one more, so it's 9.
Just one more trip for the night.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good decision, yeah. Well, Madam Chair, we'll give you the opportunity to pick which one you want to go first.
Okay. Ms. Hill.
Are there any questions?
Yes, Madam
Ms.
Chair, I
Hill.
just was going to say that I did note in reading the information that chaperones was something that you were still looking for.
Yeah. Make sure you message Miss Swinger. She's got the charge of that trip this summer.
Well, this is actually not a question for you. Since you are talking about a trip, but someone asked me the other day, so I'm throwing this out for the other staff, about, the Jonesboro band is going to New York for the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade, and I know that we've all helped, and they have a lot of money, but it seems to me they have a balance, and I'm trying to understand are we now supposed to, I'm just putting it out, you all don't have to answer, Dr. Smith, but are we supposed to cover that, or have they not already given the total amount to their students and they're supposed to cover that themselves? So if you all could let us know that, because I don't want anybody calling saying that we didn't help them, because I know we have helped them quite a bit, but we need to find out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So are there any other questions, Ms. Williams?
How do you advertise the district-wide trip?
So for the district-wide trip, we have great partners in CCPS communication. We identify the ages of the students that we want to offer to travel, and they work with us and send it out to students and to parents. We also use social media to offer it as well. With the South Africa one, we kind of had lower numbers, and so then we did a district-wide Zoom, and we were able to bump that up to a full private tour with 42 students enrolled.
Oh, so that's already over already?
No. They're going in June of 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you already have the
And numbers
students for-
fluctuate. Kids and adults will drop a trip and then add a trip. So numbers do fluctuate sometimes.
Oh, but this trip is already booked, you're saying you already have students interested
Yeah,
in.
it is booked
Okay.
right now. Yes.
I think they need some chaperones. All right. Okay. I'm glad to see we're being inclusive
Absolutely.
of other areas, because mainly certain folks. Okay. Glad to see that.
We ensure that we're traveling Africa, Asia, Central America, South America. We're really excited at the offerings that we have.
Okay. All right. I don't think we have any other questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item I see is the CTAE Perkins grant approval for the consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Cox, for your update. Dr. Pitts?
Good evening, Madam Chair, board members, Superintendent Smith. Annually, we come before you for the CTAE Perkins grant approval for consent by the board. I'm trying to do this. Okay, excuse me. All right, each year, our CTAE Perkins funding supports all of our career tech and agricultural programs. Each year, we do a needs assessment of all of our career tech and agricultural programs. It is a requirement that we have a district advisement committee, and we do have that. It is very active. It also requires that the grant, when we do it and we do the needs assessments, that we come up with plans for improvement each and every year. And it also requires that our local board approve our annual funding for Perkins. In your notes regarding the Perkins grant, you see that we had an increase this year overall of over $263,000 for all of our local grants. I am proud to tell you that we have been awarded grants that we have not received in the past, like the Perkins Plus grant, along with the Georgia Works Alignment Grant. There were only 15 school districts in the state of Georgia to receive the Why Georgia Works Alignment Grant, and Clayton County was one of those 15.
All right.
If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Do we have any questions? Great job.
Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Pitts.
Right, okay, gotcha, okay.
Thank you. I believe Dr. Crawford, the tribunal panel members.
No, I see the Georgia Aquarium Partnership.
I'm sorry, trying to get out of here, I guess, Ms. Corey.
We got to make sure we talk about everything now.
Sorry about that. Thank you,
Good
ma'am.
evening, Madam Chair and Dr. Smith and board members. So I'm here this evening just to bring forth to you all about our partnership. We are going year 3 with this partnership, so we're very excited about that. And so we wanted to just come before you to kind of share some updates regarding the partnership, the opportunities that will be lent to our students this year. I will share very quickly some of those benefits. And so we're, of course, going forth with supporting our marine science pathway. We're also going to be expanding some learning opportunities, as well as we are in the process of planning a competition, a rover underwater competition to come forth and to pilot at one of our middle schools. We're also engaging or continuing to engage our students, our staff, as well as you all in any other additional experiences with the Georgia Aquarium. This past June, we were able to take our principals to the Georgia Aquarium so that they could also get that same experience that you all were afforded, so that they can see exactly what their scholars are being able to engage in through this experience. Additionally, we are also including our teachers in some of those experiences. So we were able to offer 20 slots to our teachers across the district, and they were able to go on an excursion. It was a 5-day excursion during spring break. And so they went down the waterline, the water coastline, and they were able to observe reefs and observe other organisms that was found within those coral reefs. They had a complete room and board, as well as food and transportation that was covered by the Georgia Aquarium. And so we were very excited for those teachers to have that experience, because we know that through that experience, they are then better equipped to support our students with marine science and those pathways. Just really quickly, also wanted to just make mention that we are excited about our aquaponics initiative. We have joined forces, the Department of Science have joined forces with our STEM department so that we can look for additional grants to support more aquaponics systems for more of our schools that will expand beyond the 19 schools that currently have these systems. So we're very excited about this partnership. And if you all have any questions, please let me know now.
Do we have any other questions? That excursion now, where was that excursion?
So it was the coral reef. They traveled from Georgia and they went down the coastline to Florida. And so it was for all of our teachers, but
you didn't need any board members to go on that trip.
yes, ma'am. I'll be sure to invite you all on the next one.
I get all these invites to come to,
and our principal said the
give
same
some
thing.
words at the, last year, give some words at the new teacher orientation. Last year, they didn't even have breakfast.
Yes,
and, I had to get some breakfast. And we get invitations to that, but we can't get invitations to these trips. Now,
I'll be sure to extend it.
Because we had a great time at the aquarium last year.
Yes, ma'am, we did. Yes, ma'am, we
really did.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Okay, now, Dr. Smith, we're on the student tribunal panel members.
Oh, I was getting ready to go to retreat.
Well, I know you were. Come on, I'm ready for it too.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, our superintendent, Dr. Smith, members of Clayton County community. We have submitted in line with OCGA 20-2-752, the list of tribunal panel members for the 2024-2025 school year for your approval. and I'm here to answer any question that you may have.
Do we have any questions? We don't have any questions, but I must give my statement as I do. I have to be consistent 16 years in a row that I still think that on this panel, we need an advocate, somebody that's not an administrator to speak on behalf of the children. That's my statement and that's what I'm sticking to. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right, now, Dr. Smith, we're now down to the Superintendent Board Retreat. All right, board members, I want you to look at these dates on your calendar. We do need to have an earlier retreat. We would like to try to get our board training out of the way. Mr. Straker and I met, and I've spoken to Dr. Smith about having a board retreat on 8/24, definitely on August 24th. And then we have 2 other dates. You all pick 9. Want to try to get at least 2 out of the 3 out of the way before the end of the year. And we're look at the dates 9/28 and 11/9. But so August 24th for sure. Look at September. That may be too soon. September 28th and 11/9. And one of the other, and if not, just give me some other dates for those. That's November. So we're looking at maybe we need to try to have 2 before we leave. Now, one thing that we want to let everyone know, because most of the board will be attending a conference in, I believe it's the last weekend. Is it October? So we will be changing that board meeting date. We'll let you all know about that probably the next work session. So we may combine the meeting for that month because I believe we have a whole week out for fall break in October. And then if we try to move up the meeting to have it preceding the one that would have happened at the end of the month, it might be better just to have a combined meeting, a work session and business session. I do believe that we have covered everything except we need to look at our agenda for the August 5th meeting. What'd you say? Ms. Bowles?
I think
Yes.
I don't know if Ms. Battle just helped me out. I was wondering if we needed to vote on the corrective action plan. It's next. Okay, you just did that. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
No, we can't vote on it because,
No, it's next week, I think.
well, actually, I'm not even sure we can vote then because first of all, we need to have the training first. And what we're waiting on is we're waiting for the person at the State Department to actually send us the information.
Okay.
So
I don't know if I misunderstood. It sounded like she didn't come for the training because she said she already did it to the same board members. Was that what the outcome was? Okay.
Yeah, what it was is she originally, Ms. Bivens thought that we needed to have it voted on and we needed to be trained. I think she thought the date was around like August the 7th or the 17th, and then found out that it's not until September. So the presenter said, since she'd already presented this information to us last year, which remember we sat here for about an hour.
Oh, yeah, I
She
remember.
said it, yeah, that's why, our agenda might have been a little bit different. So what she's going to do, she's going to send us the presentation for us to read. And then once we have read it, then we'll either look at voting for it, and you all help me to make sure we have everything that's listed under the consent. I'm not sure if we need to, Ms. Battle has handed me this about adding the corrective plan to the agenda. That is a question mark, so I'm just not going to add it tonight. When we get further clarification, if we need to add it, we'll just vote to add it to the agenda when we come next week.
That sounds like a plan.
Okay, so do we have everything?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
you may wish to post the meeting next week for 6 PM or 6:05 PM so that you don't have to recess after the hearing, if you like.
Okay, so you want us to say that that the board meeting will start at 6:05? But we're
Yes,
gonna
ma'am.
have the hearing at 6.
Yes,
And in the event that it's not as short, then we can just go ahead and
What that
start the
will do
board.
is it just gives you a
Okay.
choice. You can always run late, but you can't always start early.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's change one thing on the board meeting. As Mr. Doyle said, it says 6:30 PM. So Ms. Battle, we're gonna change the meeting time to 6:05 in the event, although you might have jinxed us, now we might really end up at 6:30, but we're gonna pray that that we get lucky. Okay, so we'll change that. Okay, so I do need a vote on that for the business, for the approval of the proposed August 5th. Okay, Ms. Hill.
Madam Chair, I ask that we accept the motion to, for the agenda as it has been revised, to change the starting time to 6:05.
All right, Ms. Cooper.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we approve the proposed agenda for August the 5th, and we change the meeting time to 6:05. Please vote. Okay, is that everybody? Nope, Mr. Christmas, or is he left? Okay, all right, so we have a unanimous vote. I believe we covered everything. Thank you all. Have a great evening. We're in adjournment.